Hi, my name is Chris Beausoleil. It's the 16th of December 2016, 2025. I just made a video and I wanted to test it out. What's happening is the Anglicans are tampering with the battery, and what's happening is the battery, the default battery time is changing. What I mean by battery time is I pull the battery and the time that stays on the system. Just before this, I started it up, and the system, the time after removing the battery was the same as the time when I shut down the phone. I did a video, and then they watched what I was doing, and then they changed. So now the time is 11:06. I just started the battery. I just pulled the battery, and I just started the phone, and now the time is 11:06. And the other video I did was right here. I'll show you. Um, so it was right 2000 here. I'll just play it once, and I just did this. My name is Chris Beausoleil. I just did this video, and I what I did was I removed the battery and started up I finished the other video. I removed about talking about the battery and everything. I went downstairs, got a drink of water, put the battery back in, and started the phone back up again. And when I started up the phone, it said 1840. So what they're doing is they're accessing the phone, and they're modifying the phone at will. So sometimes when I remove the battery, and don't forget, just before I did that, after I finished the video, I heard a girl giggling somewhere. Now I don't know if that has to do with them monitoring the phone, and it doesn't matter. They've been monitoring the phone constantly, and they're psychotic. That includes the women. There's something wrong with them. They get off on watching people. They get off on spying on people. They get off on pissing people off, and they get off on sending people on wild goose chases and just interfering with people's lives. They're messed in the head. They should find some, you know, some place to go. If they want to be a cult, they should go and do that somewhere else where they're not bothering people. They can screw with themselves. They can spy on each other's phones. But their attitude and their hypocrisy and their annoyances, it's just there's no words to describe it. It's absolutely repulsive. So the time now is 11:08, and the time that it's supposed to be set to is January the 1st. Friday, January the 1st at 11:02, and that's exactly what it started up as. I did the video, and you saw the video, it was 18 something, and that is because the time was kept when I stopped the phone. So I started up the phone again, and then the time goes back to default. So at will, they can modify and tamper with the phone at will. So they can stay connected to the phone on shutdown and then reconnect immediately on startup. Or they can pull the plug. They can see what I'm doing, and then they can pull the plug. And what they did is, they do this all the time. And what they did is they pulled the plug because they saw what I was doing and they saw I was making a video. So they pulled the plug so that when I started it up again, it was 11:02. And they're always doing this. They always enter the system and then change something and then giggle and then leave. And then you try to catch them, and it's like trying to, you know, that little game at the fair where you're trying to hit the rats when they're sticking their heads out of the holes? Well, that's what they do. They're like the rats that stick their head out of the hole, and you're trying to hit them, and you just can't. You just get evidence of them being there, and then they're gone. And that's what they're like on all of our systems. So these people that call themselves Christians, these students of Moore Theological Bible College and their friends, and I say friends because there's other people involved here that aren't students. There's people that are helping them that are not students, but that are engaged in the activity that the students are engaged in, that are part of the same program, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is this is continual, and this is exactly the same thing now as it was in 2013. This is the Moore Theological Bible College students. This is them committing this, and their friends, and they commit this. They've been committing this with us, as I say in all our videos, and they're doing this to people all over the place without them even knowing. and they're sick because every Sunday they go to their stupid little churches and they say their stupid little preaches, their sermons, and I don't know if they know this is going on, but I know there's a lot of students here that do know this is going on because I've raised my voice in that courtyard and everybody heard me. And everybody talks about what I'm saying, and everybody has to know what I'm saying because I mean, I'm too loud. I mean, if you walk by our unit right now, you can hear me talking. So if they are blinding themselves to this, it's only because they want to blind themselves to it. I'm trying my very hardest to make it very clear with all of them that these computer crimes are going on, and they don't care. So all of these students here at 126 and the students at 124, they know what's going on, and they do not care. They go to church on Sunday, and they do their little preacher sermons, and they stand up there in their nice little suits, and they talk to their congregations, and they stupefy their congregations when a lot of those people standing up on that stage are computer criminals and are spending their time hacking our phones and hacking our computers and monitoring all our behavior and all our activity. So I think it's sickening. I think it's disgusting. And I wouldn't want to be in church with those people. And if I knew that this was happening, I would get out of church, I would walk out, I would take my money with me, I would never talk to them ever again. And that's what you should do. Because these people are doing this to me. I'm innocent, never did anything. And I guarantee you, they're doing it to you. So if you want to be part of an organization like that, you go ahead. But you're engaging in that activity then as a passive supporter. And then you're engaging in activity that's worse than what the Nazis did, because this is everywhere. This isn't just one group of people. This is all groups of people. This isn't just the Jewish culture that's being targeted. This is all cultures that are being targeted. Everybody minus them. So if you're anybody other than an Anglican or Presbyterian or Baptist or anyone that they deem fit, that they deem suitable to be in their little cult, if you're anybody else, you're going to be targeted and you're going to be monitored and actively and aggressively surveyed. And they do this. They've been doing this for a long time, I think, because these attacks are way too sophisticated to just be. And they started 3 years ago. And this attack with the battery here, with the time staying persistent, that has been on all of our phones. It's been on the I couldn't remove the battery on the Nokia 1520, but it happened when I had to fix the machine. I took it apart and I had to remove the battery then, and it happened then. It happened on my E71, my Nokia E71, and it also happened on a BlackBerry. Not from the start. For about 4 days, when I had the phone at start, when I pulled the battery, it was fine, and the date was proper. It went to default. But as soon as they got into the system, that's one of the first things they changed, was they changed the way the phone the way the phone behaves when you remove the battery, and they started making persistent changes. So the time used to stick. So I'd pull a battery at 1400, the time would be 1400 when I put the battery back in. So they forced the changes on the phone to be persistent. I don't think it's just the battery they're targeting or the time. I think what they're doing is they're targeting and they're making persistent changes of my system at the time the battery is pulled. So they want to know what my searches were, or they want to know what this was or what that was. So they store them in memory and they make them persistent, and then they go back to that place in memory, and then they pick up that data and they transfer it over to their system. This is very sophisticated stuff, and this has happened on all of our phones. So I think that people should be wary of this and people should be warned. And yeah, this is another example of how disgusting this, while they're not Christians, this cult, these Anglicans are. So please keep an eye open, and if you see any of this activity on your phone and in your systems, just take note of it and document it and try to get it out there and try to make it public, because these douchebags are hiding behind hackers, and they're hiding behind system flaws, and they're hiding behind bugs that they probably plant themselves so that they can hide behind them. They're educated people, and they're in the upper strata of society. These aren't just little goonies. These aren't just little script kiddies. These guys are like educated academics that float around with like the upper people in society. Like one guy here that's attacking, I always talk about him. He's the student minister at Premier Mike Baird's church. So I mean, he was student minister at the same church as the leader of the Liberal Party for New South Wales, Australia. So come on, and they all hang out with each other, and they all pray, and they all do their little Bundschaft sessions, little circle jerks, and they share information. And I know for a fact that this is rife and thick within the community, and I know for a fact because I've seen it here for 3 years. I've seen how secretive they are, and I've seen how they band together and how they support each other blindly. Oh, right, you're in the church, mate. All right, okay. They don't see the blood. They don't see the murder or the poisoning or the evil deeds that they do. They just band together because they support each other because they're in the same cult. It's got nothing to do with Jesus. It's got nothing to do with faith. It's got nothing to do with God or anything like that. It's got to do with politics, power, and position. All they want to do is like that douchebag Magonchi. He was Game's friend. This guy that lives over in 124, crying about, oh, please pray for me. I need a job. Please pray for me. I'm going to be finished school pretty soon. Oh, I need a job. He'll do anything for a job. He'll do anything to get work. And that's fine because everybody's got to live. But does that mean that you partake in wickedness and in monitoring and in computer hacks? And what they always come down to is prove it. Well, there's lots of proof. And whenever I get something that's really substantial, they just delete it. They just go into the phone and then they just delete it. And I can't even get it off the system. Like I said, they broke on the go USB OTG. They broke it. It doesn't work. This phone is capable of it, and it's not working. It hasn't worked since I tried. So I mean, that's probably the first thing they did was they probably broke on the go so that I can't bounce anything off this phone onto a USB drive in case they want to wipe it. Anytime they want, they can wipe this thing, and they don't want me to be able to use it on the go and move it off the phone onto a USB drive. So I think they broke on the go and plus they don't want me using a typewriter either. They don't want me using a keyboard or a mouse. They want me to struggle with the stupid keypad on the screen because it's slower and slows you down. And they don't want me to use the phone as a text to write text either, to write letters or anything like that. And so they want to inhibit your use of the device, and they want to slow you down, and they want to make it difficult for you to do anything. So they inhibit my uploading with immediate battery tech attack. I made other videos with that. They inhibit my ability to use a keyboard because on the go is broken and it won't work. This phone is supposed to support it. Maybe it's the phone's issue, but I think it was them. I think it's them. And this is a ZTE a ZTE zip blade, and it's supposed to support that. And it's 2016. I'm sure that it does support it. If there's any other people out there with a ZTE zip, just check it. If on the go works, then they broke it. And it's pretty simple. I don't have another phone, but I could check it if I had another Virgin phone. But even if I had another phone, the minute I bring it into this environment, boom, they hit it and it's broken. So it wouldn't do me any good anyways. I got 15 phones, and they're just gonna hit them all, and within 30 seconds of starting up the phone, it's gonna be broken. And they don't give a crap about how much money I spend. They've been doing this for 3 years. They don't care. They've hit every one of our phones, and they've broken every one of our phones, and they've corrupted the firmware and the operating system of every one of the phones that we've had. They don't care. They're douchebags. They're criminals. And I think that the Anglican students here have friends. I think there's another guy here that might be involved with them, Nine Toes. I mention him in a lot of videos, and he's a third party. He says, "Nah, mate, I'm not with that lot," but I think he is with that lot. I think he is with that lot. I think he is involved in all this shit. I think he makes money off of it too. Bet you any money that he's in the bar with his little phone scanning out his friends' phones. I bet he's finding out what they're doing. All his little buddies that lick his balls and do what he tells them to. He tells me one day when I first moved here, Nine Toes, Blair and Stankbog tells me when I first moved here, "Oh yeah, I got lots of friends. Lots of people owe me favors. Lots of people do things for me because they owe me favors." A dirtbag. You're a dirtbag. If they knew who you were, they would shit on you and they'd walk away. Damn right. So anyways, yeah, so I made another video about this, how the Anglicans deal with scumbags, with dirtbags, with slag bags, and I think they do this all the time. I think they deal with crooks and they get them to do third party shit that they don't want to touch, or they get them to do shit that gives them deniability. Maybe the Anglican Church doesn't know about it, but the property manager does, or they get people that do. It's like the whole thing, like you tell him to do this, and he'll tell him, and he'll tell him, and I won't know what's going on. I'm just sitting there having tea. Well, it would be really nice, if we got rid of that problem, that Yahoo. It would be really nice if we didn't have that problem anymore, don't you think? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Yeah, and then he tells somebody, and then he tells somebody, and then he tells somebody, and nobody knows what's going on because everybody's telling somebody else, right? And that's exactly how they do things here. This is supposed to be a Bible college. Yeah, it's supposed to be a Bible college.